These are the top 10 books I'm buying right now. What's going on YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and I have another top 10 list for you guys. This is the top 10 books I'm buying right now. As of today's date, today's May 23rd, 2021, I am hunting for these books all over the place. eBay, IG Live, auctions, wherever you can find these books, I am hunting for them. But before we get into the top 10, I want you to go ahead, I want you to click the subscription button, I want you to hit that notification bell, and I want you guys to go ahead and like this video. Get me as many likes as you can. Let's shoot for 25 on this one. My last video, we had 16, I think we had. Let's see if we can get to 25. This way I can get this video out there, trying to get my channel out there and grow as much as I can. But now, let's get into that top 10. Number 10, we have Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. We all know this book. This is the first appearance of Spider-Gwen. Now, this book can be had, in my opinion, for anywhere from $600 to $1,000 in high grade. The last CGC sale was a 9.4 on GPA for $600 in May of 2021, so that's this month. 9.4 for $600, that's pretty good. I actually bought a raw copy not too long ago for $600 in that 9.4, 9.6 range. My opinion, if you could pick this book up raw for a good price that may, press to a 9.4, 9.6, or possibly even a 9.8, that's what I would do. But like I said, if you're comfortable buying this book for a CGC 9.4 and above, I damn sure think it's worth it. This book hasn't seen its day yet. It's still going up. We saw her in the Into the Spider-Verse Sony animated movie, and there's going to be a sequel to that. So this book is not done going up. Jump on this book if you can. Add another copy if you can as well. So for those that don't want to buy or spend that much money on an Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, I have an honorable mention for you guys. That is Amazing Spider-Man number 31. Now, this is, of course, the first appearance of Gwen Stacy and also the first appearance of Harry Osborn. This, to me, is an undervalued book for a book that's in the Silver Age. The CGC last sale for a 4.0 on GPA was $575. That was in April of 2021. But lower grades can be had for a cheaper price. I would kind of stick to a 4.0, 3.5 around this book. We don't need to go super high grade. To me, this is an undervalued book only because eventually Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn are going to show up in the MCU. I know we've had that storyline before in 2 movies, but not in the MCU. When we get that, I do think these books are going to spike. So jump on this, either Edge of Spider-Verse number 2 or ASM 31. Coming in at number 9 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man number 101, the first appearance of Morbius. Now, there's a movie already announced for Morbius. Jared Leto is playing Morbius. I know it's in the Sonyverse, as we say, but I still think this book is undervalued. Back this month, May of 2021, there was a sale for a CGC 5.0 for $600, which I still think is undervalued. For a 5.0, which is a pretty, just under a fine, that's pretty good value. But this book can be had for less, under a 5.0, for less money. So if you guys are into Spider-Man books, if you're into speculation, I think number 9 on the list is still a hot key and a hot key to pick up. Seems kind of forgotten, like all those Sony movies have been pushed back as well. Once we start getting more trailers and more close at a time to the actual release dates, this book is going to pop. He is a major Spider-Man villain. At number 8 on the list is Iron Fist 14. This, of course, is the first appearance of Sabretooth. Again, one of my favorite X-Men villains, if not a top villain. Somebody recently asked me to do a top 10 villain list for X-Men, and I may get around to doing so, but this would be probably either 1 or 2 on that list. He's, of course, Wolverine arch nemesis. This is a huge book, and it's still undervalued. A 7.0 CGC sold this month for $700, believe it or not. That's a very fine copy, very fine minus. Still can be had for $700, and if you want to go a little lower, they can be had for a lot less. To me, super undervalued. I know, Lee Schreiber did a great job in the early X-Men movies. Hopefully, maybe they could bring him back when he comes to the MCU, because he's going to show up. But still, number 8 on the list is one of my top. Got to get this book, guys, if you don't have it. Number 7 on the list is one of my all-time favorites. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 15, the first appearance of Kraven the Hunter. Another character who already has a movie in the works supposedly, for Sony. You never know. He may show up in the MCU, may show up in Spider-Man 3. We have no idea. But a CGC 3.0 recently sold for $850 April of this year, which still to me is a decent price for a 3.0. I actually have a 3.0 sitting on my wall back there. One of the best books ever picked up, and I love that deep purple cover. Kraven is a highly undervalued character. Kraven's Last Hunt was one of my favorite storylines as a kid growing up. I hope they kind of portray that in the movies going forward, because that would be an awesome story to see on the big screen. But Kraven's a big Spider-Man villain. I believe he was part of the original Sinister Six. I'm not sure on that. I would have to double check. But again, one of my favorite all-time characters in the actual Spider-Verse. Very underrated character and one of my all-time favorite storylines. He is number 7 on the list. Now, number 6 is probably the biggest Spider-Man villain of all. That is the Green Goblin. Now, Amazing Spider-Man number 14 is number 6 on my list. CGC 2.0 recently sold for in April 2021 for $1,275, which to me, I know it's a lot of money and I know it's a low grade, but there is a ton of speculation out there right now that he is going to come to the MCU. Not only as I think William Dafoe going to be in that movie, but I'm hearing rumors that he may stick around after this movie. And of course, the Green Goblin is Spider-Man's arch nemesis. He killed Gwen Stacy. He unmasked Spider-Man. The biggest villain there is in Spider-Man lore, and this book can be had for just under $1,300 for a 2.0. If you get a nice looking 2.0, it's well worth it. This book is still undervalued in my opinion. Not only that, it also has an appearance, obviously, Green Goblin is Norman Osborn, so that's a huge key going forward as well. Now, if we can't afford number 14, Amazing Spider-Man, jump on Amazing Spider-Man number 37. This is my honorable mention for this book. This book is heating up. It is going crazy right now, but still relatively cheap. A CGC 5.0 recently sold for $248 this month. That is nothing. That's a big, huge key considering Norman Osborn is a huge villain, not only in the Spider-Verse, but in the entire Marvel Universe. What he goes on to become after the Green Goblin is major. Guys, pick this book up. If you could pick up both of them, pick up both of them because they're both going crazy. Get in now. I still think it's undervalued, both of these keys. So, at number 5 on the list is All New Marvel Now .1. Number 1. Yes, that is a mouthful. I recently picked up my copy at a 9.6, and the last sale for a 9.6 CGC was $800 May of this year. Now, I will say this. I recently purchased this book a little over a month ago for $550 at a 9.6, so deals can be had. I know a lot of guys who are picking up this book, a lot of guys who are specking. Of course, this is the first appearance of Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel. So, we already know she's got a show coming to Disney+. We've already seen pictures of her in costume, and this book is still relatively cheap. I know it's a modern book. I think it came out in 2014. Guys, pick this up while you can, because I believe she's going to pick up in Captain Marvel 2, which I think they already titled The Marvels. She's going to be in it, 100%. Pick this book up while it's affordable. This could go to the stratosphere. Now, the range we should probably stick to is probably a 9.4 to a 9.8. I gave you the 9.6 grade. Well worth it. Like I said, I got mine for $550. It's already had, last sale was $850. So jump on this if you can, if it's in that range. Try to get it for cheap as you can. Number 4 on my list is Marvel Premiere number 15. Now, this, of course, is the first appearance of Iron Fist. And with the Shang-Chi movie right around the corner, there's huge speculation that he's going to appear in this movie. I'm not sure if he is or he isn't, but this is a huge Bronze Age key that's way undervalued. A CGC 7.0 recently sold for May 2021 this month for $482. And this is a very fine minus, which is still a really good grade. And you can get them cheaper than that if you want to go under a 7.0. I would probably stay anywhere between a 6.0 and a 9.8, which is out of almost everybody's reach. But if you could pick it up, go ahead. 7.0 I think is the sweet spot. A huge Marvel character that hasn't seen its day and is still down from the Netflix series. So you know Marvel's going to bring him back. You know they're going to do him justice, and this book is going to skyrocket once they do. Now, at number 3 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man number 20. This is one of my books of the year. It is tremendously undervalued, and we've already seen Matt Gargan in the MCU. It's only a matter of time before the Scorpion shows up. Of course, this is the first appearance of the Scorpion. CGC 3.0 recently sold this month for $500. And guess who got that book, by the way, guys? You're looking at him. I just showed you that on my last video that I posted. I picked that up for $500. I'm going to crack that bad boy, going to press it, and eventually down the line, I'm going to resubmit it. But this book is really undervalued for... He's not a major Spider-Man villain, but he is one of the top ones. Awesome character, in my opinion. I enjoyed reading some of the books as I was growing up. And even now that they kind of use him better than I think they did back in the day. Still an awesome character. Amazing Spider-Man 20, highly undervalued. As long as there's a clean looking book, I'd pick this book up from a 2.5 and up. Whatever you can afford, but get it now because once he shows up, or once he's rumored to show up, it's off to the races for any Silver Age key right now, guys. With that said, number 2 on my list is another book which I recently picked up. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 50. This, of course, is the first appearance of the Kingpin, and it also is a classic John Romita cover. One of my favorites from the Silver Age. And this book recently, CGC 4.5, sold for $721 in May of this year. I recently just picked up a raw copy for $525. This is a book that I'm hunting for raw. I think it is severely undervalued. Kingpin is not only a Spider-Man villain, of course we know he's a Daredevil villain. He's a huge deal in Marvel. I'm surprised we haven't seen him yet. And we know Vincent D'Onofrio did a tremendous job in the Netflix series. I hope that he keeps his role, comes to the MCU, and sets up the Kingpin for us all to see on the big screen. But again, a huge undervalued book. 4.5, $721. That's pretty good. I would stay between a 3.5 and a 7.0. Anything you can afford in that range. As long as the cover looks pretty good, I think you're off to the races with this book. Number 1 on my list, guys, is a book I've owned a million times. I currently have 2 copies of, and I am hunting for more. That is number 1 on my list, Amazing Spider-Man number 129, the first appearance of the Punisher. Not only is this book a beautiful cover, one of my all-time favorites, yellow, beautiful artwork, but the Punisher was one of my all-time favorite characters growing up, and Jon Bernthal killed it in the Punisher series. I hope they bring him back. I hope he shows up either in an MCU movie with Spider-Man, Daredevil, however you want to bring him in. He is a baddie that needs to show up. Now, a CGC 4.0 is going through the roof right now. Last sold May of this year on GPA was $1,514. I saw last night somebody trying to sell a copy, a 3.5 for $1,850. I also saw recently once on eBay going for about $2,000. So this book is heating up and is going crazy. This is, to me, one of the best pickups you can buy right now. If you can get it cheap, anywhere from, I would say, I would start at a 4.0. I'm not really looking to go under that for this book. It is a yellow cover. It's a light cover, so dirt shows easily. Anything 4.0 above, I think, is a good buy right now if you can get it for a decent price. This is the number 1 spec book, in my opinion. It is the opportunity to go through the roof. Now, there are other million books out there that are way crazy, like Hulk 180, Hulk 181. They didn't make my list because I think they're just out of reach for so many people. And to be honest, I'm not into spending tens of thousands of dollars on a book that I'm not going to keep for the rest of my life and then sell maybe 20 years down the road. I want to look for books that are around $1,000 or under $1,000 that we're speccing on, that are still undervalued and still have a ton of room to grow. That's number 1 on my list, guys. And that's it for this list. I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop comments down below. Let me know what you think of this list. If I left somebody off the list, I know there's a lot of Amazing Spider-Man books, but there's a lot of huge villains and heroes in the Amazing Spider-Man lore. So to me, adding most of those, I still think they're very undervalued, and I think we are going to go ahead and see them in Marvel Cinematic Universe or on the Disney Plus shows going forward. Spider-Man is a huge deal to Marvel. I know Disney owns the rights to most of it, but they seem to be getting along, and a lot of those characters are going to come forward, and they're going to be in movies, and we're going to see a lot of that stuff going forward. Spider-Man's not going anywhere, guys, so he makes a majority of this list. Jump on these characters if you can, because I do think they're going up. So like I said, that's it for the top 10 list, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There will be more top 10s to go. But as I said, comment down below. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if there's a book out there that you'd add to the list or something that you're hunting for. The more comments, the better. The more likes, the better. The more shares, the better. The more subscribers, the better. That's it, guys. I'm Lawrence here at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.